I came all the way to Austin, Texas because I had to see this place. I have heard this is the best butcher shop in Texas, and I'm excited because I love a good butcher shop. I went to an amazing butcher shop in Arizona. I'll put a link to that video in the description, but there's a little bit of my heart in Texas. Heart and Soil is based here outside of Austin. Lineage is connected with Texas. I used to live here. They have amazing meat, and you can even get raw dairy here. So let's go into what is probably the best butcher shop in Texas and check this place out. First impressions, this place is gorgeous. Look at this. On the table right as you walk in, they've got the fruit. So not a ton of fruit because it's only local seasonal fruit. Here you've got the top of Texas Gala apples, Delorio Farms, pumpkin. If you lived in Texas right now as a hunter-gatherer, as an indigenous human hundreds of years ago, basically all you'd be eating right now is pears, apples, and squash. Everything else we're getting in terms of grocery store stuff is imported. So this is what's local in Texas right now, I guess, or at least in this area. Apples, pears, pumpkins, and that's cool. I love squash. Squash is a fruit, so I definitely eat squash. Sometimes people ask about sweet potatoes. They're definitely food for humans. I don't feel great when I eat them, but that's just my physiology. I also don't feel great when I eat white potatoes. It makes my stomach feel like it's kind of gummed up, but if you can eat white potatoes, rock and roll, do it. Here's a question for you guys. What is your favorite apple? I'm kind of a fan of Fuji's, which is what we got here. These Galas look pretty good. I think I'm just gonna stick with the old standby Fuji's. There's very few things more disappointing than a non-crunchy apple. Don't wish a non-crunchy apple on me, guys. Quick word about vegetables. Food for humans? Yes. Does everybody do great with them? No. In my experience, no. Leafy greens definitely have nutrients, but they have more anti-nutrients. For instance, you got chard here. Chard is pretty high in oxalates. If you guys ever get that charred feeling in the back of your throat where it kind of burns, that's kind of the defense chemicals in chard, like oxalates, like damaging your throat a little bit. I remember when I was a vegan, yes, I used to be a vegan, I made chard juice and the back of my throat just burned. So look, if you can eat greens like this and you feel good, amazing. But if you don't feel good on these greens, it might be good to try them outside of your diet. I'm not a fan of these at all. Kale, mustard, cauliflower. It has compounds in it called isothiocyanates, which are goitrogens. They block the absorption of iodine, and I would rather use all of the bioavailable iodine I'm getting from my animal foods and dairy to make the hormones that control my biology, give me healthy libido, healthy metabolism. So I'm not looking to tank my thyroid, guys. I don't think it's worth it. I think greens in general are not worth the risk. You do you and see what works for you. Some people do great with carrots. That's okay. The peppers are interesting, definitely delicious and a fruit, but like tomatoes, they're part of that nightshade family. And for some people, including myself, the nightshades really trigger an immune issue. Mushrooms are tricky, guys. There's a lot of really interesting mushrooms up here. You got pio pino, black pearl, lion's mane, you got chestnut, you got blue oyster mushrooms. I think in general, mushrooms are fine for humans as long as you cook them well. Mushrooms definitely have defense chemicals in them. They're rooted in the ground. When you cook them, you can denature most of the defense chemicals. So mushrooms are kind of in the middle. I mean, mushrooms might even be closer to humans than a lot of other things we eat because they inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide, just like we do as humans, different than all the other plants we're eating. I do think historically, anecdotally, that large doses of mushrooms and mushroom extracts were a huge trigger for a big eczema flare that I had many years ago, right when I started carnivore. So see how you feel with mushrooms. I don't think they work for everybody, but for a lot of us, they're pretty interesting and delicious foods. You just got to cook the heck out of them because they definitely have defense chemicals. So this is cool, guys. They have a map here of Texas, and they have all of the farms that they source from on the map. So when you go to a grocery store, whatever, Whole Foods, Sprouts, anywhere, it's coming from Mexico, it's coming from Peru, it's coming from all over the US. They're doing an amazing job at Radius here of sourcing from farms all over the place. Yonder Way Farm, Lira Rosa cheese. There's a mushroom farm. This is Peeler Farms where they get most of the beef. I'm gonna show you guys the beef here, which is pretty incredible. I think that if you know the farmer that you're getting your stuff from, that is like life elevated. That is a huge upgrade. And the quality is going to be enormous and better than what you're gonna get if it's just anonymous. And I mean, humans should connect that way. Obviously, I don't know all these people at these farms, but it gets me one step closer and I really appreciate this. I mean, this butcher shop is going so far above and beyond to be so high quality. It's really impressive. Speaking of high quality and above and beyond, I was talking with the owner about their chicken. I got to teach you guys about this. So they have this card here. Most chicken that you get in the grocery store is Cornish. And the problem with Cornish breeds of chicken, apparently, are that they grow so fast. They must be harvested at 6 weeks or 7 weeks, or they will die. They'll get so big, they will break their own legs. It's crazy genetics that are optimized only for chicken production and have created this kind of mutant chicken. But all of the chicken here is red bro. So red bros are 7 to 8 weeks, whereas the Cornish are 5 weeks. Most all Cornish cross breeds are water chilled with a chlorine disinfectant. What you really want when you're getting chicken is air chilled. So when you go to the grocery store and you look at chicken and it says 5% retained water, that's water chilled with a chlorine disinfectant. That means you're eating chlorine in your chicken because 5% of that water chilling is retained in the chicken. Air chilling of the chicken prevents that completely. So what they have here is red bro chicken, 8 weeks old, forage organic mix of regenerative ingredients. I think it's corn and soy free, they said, but I gotta confirm that. If not, they're moving toward that. And it's air chilled. So it's a completely different type of chicken than what you're getting in most grocery stores. And you can see here on the label, it says slow growth, harvested at 7 weeks, organic feed, moved daily in pasture sleds, fresh grass, bugs, and seeds. That's what you want. So I generally don't eat chicken from the grocery store because it's just kind of meh. This looks like some of the best chicken I've ever seen. I challenge you guys. Number one, get air chilled chicken. Number two, try and find something like this with a red bro breed of chicken. I'd never even heard of this before I walked in this butcher shop the other day, and it totally blew me away. Okay guys, we have arrived at the promised land. Look at this beef. This is all grass-fed Wagyu. A lot of Wagyu is not grass-fed. I'm not a fan of grain-finished beef. When you grain-finish beef, it's gonna get pesticides, contaminants, mold, etc. from the grains into the beef. This is all grass-fed Wagyu, which I think is pretty ideal because you're getting a little bit fattier cow and a tender cow, but it's finished on grass its whole life. So what do they have today? I mean, the first thing I see when I look at this beef, it's very red. That's very ingrained in my history as a human. Like deep red beef, it's obviously full of nutrients. So they've got a huge T-bone here. They've got a porterhouse back there. Look at the size of that thing. They've got a boneless New York strip, bone-in ribeye back there, a bavette, which is pretty good. I'll probably try some of that. I really like bavette steaks. Just because of the grain, I feel like I like the texture. Flat iron is also good. In the back there, they've got a chuck roast and a tri-tip and a brisket. Those are better for smoking. A lot of people grind the chuck roast into hamburger. And they've got 90-10 ground beef and 80-20 ground beef. I want 80-20. Give me the fattiest ground beef possible. I want the fat, guys. That's what I want. That's where a lot of the nutrients are, at least the fat-soluble nutrients. Vitamin K2, vitamin E, beta carotene from what the cow's been eating, stearic acid. Animal fat is healthy for humans. Don't fear it. This place, Radius, actually did a test of plastics and plastic-derived ingredients like PFAs, forever chemicals, in their beef compared to Whole Foods. And they beat Whole Foods by a significant margin. I can put a link to the testing in the show notes, but it's really cool that they were actually curious how many plastics are in our beef. In a lot of commercial beef, they have to spray it with an acid wash to sterilize it before it goes to like Whole Foods. And then Whole Foods wraps it in plastic. And that combination of the acidic wash plus the plastic breaks down some of the plastic and it goes into the beef. But Whole Foods beef, unfortunately, this kind of kills me, although I don't love Whole Foods, I'd rather would shop here. Whole Foods beef had significantly notable levels of plastics and plasticizers, PFAs, forever chemicals, plastic-derived ingredients and compounds in their beef. No beef is free of it, but theirs was way better, which is really cool. On the screen right now, I'll put some of the results from both tests so you guys can see this, but it's another thing that I think Radius is doing. Really blew me away. So when I'm getting meat here, I feel like, wow, it's local, grass-fed, regenerative, and it's actually been tested, and it's cleaner significantly than what I would get at Whole Foods. If you're on a budget, even a place like this has Wagyu ground beef, 80-20, it's $11 a pound, but that's affordable and it's super high quality. Remember guys, if you're eating this way, you don't need to be eating $50 a pound Wagyu boneless New York strips all the time unless you're having an anniversary or you want to impress a date. But most of what I eat is ground beef. It's just functional and easy and it's affordable. 11 bucks a pound, great. I don't eat bread, but a good bread is definitely food for humans. Texas French bread, bakery and bistro in Austin. Cool. You've got the wheat sourdough boulé. I don't even know how to say it. Let's look at the ingredients here. Wheat flour, sourdough starter, flour, salt, bran, barley, dry malt, trace amounts, avocado oil, and rice flour. Pretty sure my great-grandmother would recognize all of that. What's not in here? Folic acid. Most of the sourdough I find at Whole Foods and other places has folic acid added. You don't want that. It's in the flour. The flour is enriched with folic acid. The problem with folic acid is that it's a form of folate humans don't do well with. It's not found in nature. A lot of times it leads to unmetabolized folic acid in the body, which is consistently associated with negative outcomes in babies and kids whose mothers have higher levels in the cord blood, or kids who have higher levels of unmetabolized folic acid in the blood. So get folic acid out of your supplements. Don't have it in your bread. If you want sourdough bread can be healthier than regular bread for sure. It should be wheat, it should be sourdough starter, it should be water and salt. That's all you need in your bread. The simpler your sourdough, the better. You don't want folic acid in there at all. That's horrible stuff. Eat liver, eat egg yolks if you want naturally occurring folate. But remember, folic acid doesn't occur in nature. If you guys like content like this, if you want to know about which breads to avoid for folic acid and stuff, check out my newsletter. Every Sunday I release this newsletter. It's totally free. A couple of weeks ago, I wrote about Tylenol and autism, super controversial, but I want to talk about these interesting topics, and I'm going to try and give you guys lots of value in the newsletter. So check it out. I'll put a link here in the description. I'm going to go show you guys on that side. There's some pretty amazing stuff over there that you've got to see. So come over here, guys. I got to show you something really cool that I'm super excited about. Right there. Look at that. Hardened soil. We got beef organs, histamine and immune. I could probably use some of that right now. I've been sneezing a bunch since I've been in Texas. And we got all 3 whey proteins. We got the grass-fed chocolate sea salt whey, plain whey, and the animal-based protein. But the team did an amazing job with this. We looked all over the world for the lowest heavy metal cacao. A lot of cacao has a ton of heavy metals. And we have the COA on the website. It doesn't even exceed Prop 65 guidelines, which is pretty hard in a chocolate whey protein. And we got a microplastic-free sea salt. We sweeten it with a maple syrup powder. I hate stevia. I hate artificial sweeteners. And this is probably, this is amazing stuff. There's nothing else in here, guys. So no fillers, nothing weird. You can see the ingredients there. Whey protein concentrate, maple syrup powder, raw cacao, North American sea salt, no fillers, no emulsifiers, nothing. And the whey protein that we use for this is not just any whey protein. It's a special whey protein that is cold processed. So most whey protein comes from cheese. And when you heat the whey protein from cheese, it denatures a lot of these immune proteins. But we tested them. So the immune proteins per serving, look, you've got IgA, IgG, and IgM. Those are the immunoglobulins. But you've also got lactoferrin, beta-lactoglobulin, alpha-lactalbumin, bovine serum albumin, lactoperoxidase. The amounts of these in this are significantly higher than other raw whey proteins, quote unquote raw whey proteins. We tested it head to head with a leading competitor that's supposedly a raw whey protein, a grass-fed whey protein, and we crushed them. I've never seen immunoglobulin proteins or immune proteins in whey protein that are as good as ours. So I'm really proud of that, guys. We looked high and low for this, and I think we made something really special with that whey protein. So they've got a pretty amazing freezer over there that I want to show you also. Let's go check that out. Look at that. You got a Wagyu tongue. You got Wagyu beef cheek meat. If you've never had slow cooked beef cheek, this will change your world. Beef cheek, incidentally, also is about 5 times higher than the rest of the animal in terms of taurine levels. So beef cheek is good for taurine maxing. Taurine is an amino acid that's associated with beneficial cardiovascular outcomes. I did a whole separate video on the benefits of taurine that I can link to, but slow cooked beef cheek will blow your mind. That is sweetbreads. So sweetbread is thymus. The thymus is an immune gland that lives in humans right below the sternum. And as we age, it shrinks. But a lot of our immune system is programmed in the thymus. So could eating thymus, which is pretty delicious if you grill it, sometimes I just throw it in my smoothie raw. I know, pretty gross. Could eating thymus improve immune health in humans? Possibly. I mean, we put thymus, desiccated thymus, in the histamine and immune supplement from Hardened Soil, but you can also eat it raw. I've never seen a butcher shop that sells it like this, but that's what sweetbreads are. It says sweetbreads. They're amazing. Grill up some of this. You will thank me, guys. Or just eat it raw in your smoothie and you'll probably get some immune benefits. This place is amazing, guys. So if you live in Austin, definitely come check this place out. This is not a sponsored video or anything. They didn't pay me to make this. I just think it's so incredible that I want to tell you guys about it. And if you don't live in Austin, you should drive from wherever you are in Texas to come check this place out. I think this is the standard. If there were more butcher shops like this, we would have access to such high quality food. It would really, I think, improve the health of humans. And I love what these guys are doing. They're doing the hard work to create something that's very special. And I'm just really excited to support them. So hopefully you guys found that valuable. If you don't live in Austin, Texas, and you don't have access to this butcher, that's cool. Just try and find a butcher near you, or think about how you can improve the food quality wherever you are. Go to a farmer's market, meet your farmer, know where your produce is coming from, look for local organic produce. Obviously, it costs a little more, but I think it's worth it in the long run. It works and is all part of a system. You support the agriculture that is good for the land, that supports health of humans, less pesticides in our watersheds, etc. So pretty stoked about this, guys. And the good part is that now I get to go home and eat some of this food. And yeah, see you guys in the next video.